Next up, Ravens at the Colts. So the Ravens are struggling offensively. Hefe, you talked about that on Monday. Darius Leonard is back. And with Leonard in, the Colts are one of the elite defenses of the league, if not the best in the league. The Colts are at home. I want them to win. I hope they win. I think they can win. But for some reason, I just can't pick them this week. I have to go with the Ravens.
I'm highly disappointed in you. But this is the game of the week for me, not because I'm a Colts fan, but because you have two really good defenses squaring off in this one. And I'm a defensive kind of guy. If Baltimore wants to win, they need a better performance out of the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson. He hasn't played well the last few games, really the entire season. And if you play poorly against this Indy defense, they're going to make you pay for it. On the flip side, Philip Rivers needs to protect the ball, manage the clock. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite, but if all those things can come together, I believe the Colts can, and I believe they will get it done at home.
Yeah, if you're a fan of old-fashioned football, this is going to be the perfect game for you. These two teams are so similar stylistically. You have two really elite defenses, and then you have two really good run games, but they've both been struggling, and nobody knows why. And this is going to be a game where whoever's able to get that run game going better is going to get the job done, because Lamar, he's been turning the ball over, whether it's fumbles or interceptions. He's not passing well, and he's turning the ball over. And Philip Rivers over the last two games has played really, really well, but he also, everybody worries about him turning the ball over too. So there's always that going against a good defense. And so I think this is going to be, a back and forth, punch for punch kind of game. Probably nothing outrageously huge on offense. And, I just think that when it comes down to it, I trust Philip Rivers more right now as a quarterback than I do Lamar Jackson. And I think the Colts can get it done this weekend.
That's interesting you say that, because I was waiting for you to finish, and I was going to come in and say that at this point I trust Lamar Jackson more than I trust Philip Rivers. I was really going to say that, and the reasoning behind my line of thinking is that Jackson's in a slump. Jackson has, I mean, I don't know how long we never know how long, but arguably the guy's got another 5 really good years left in him. He's in a slump. He's going to come out of that slump at any time. It could be this week. It could be next year. We don't know. And he could never come out of it. I mean, that's happened before, right? Rivers has seen his best years, and you know how I feel about Rivers in this offense. I think it's great. But what concerns me is going to be not if they can't run the ball against the Ravens and they can bring pressure to Rivers, he's going to start forcing it. And if he starts forcing it, the Colts are in a lot of trouble. And that's why I can't take the Colts. So, but I hope it's a good game. I think it should be a good game. If the Colts are as legit as we've been talking about them for 6 months, this should be a really, really good game. And in my opinion, if it is a good game, just like the Ravens-Steelers game, then it's not indicative of who's clearly better. We'll find that out in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I a lot of people have been talking about the Colts' inability for running this year, and we've run pretty well. We get decent yardage, just not real good yards per carry. And I thought Frank Reich made a real good point a couple days ago of when the media asked him about it. He said, well, if you look back at the Jets game or the Vikings game or some of those games where they were up and just trying to kill clock, they weren't calling plays to get chunk plays. They were calling plays to kill the clock, so that they were getting 2 and 3 yards. So it's been the numbers are a little skewed from that end, and I could see that. So this will be the game. This is going to have to be the game. The plays that you think can work for you, you have to call them against this elite defense, and they have to work, because I expect both Lamar and Phillip to both throw at least one interception or have at least one turnover each. It's just going to happen. But it's whose running game is going to work better. And this is the game the Colts have to control the clock and have to get Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins going, and they have to make it work this week.
Agreed. And this is this is a playoff tune-up game. This is where you see if you got what it takes. You start figuring out if you've got what it takes to go to the end. So I'm really excited for this game this weekend.
Who'd you pick to win, Jeff?
I picked the Colts to win this weekend.
Okay, Zach,
really close game though. I don't know how close this game's going to be, but the Colts and Ravens always play really close games. This shouldn't be any different.
Yeah.
Zach, you picked the Colts as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Zach and Hefe picked the Colts, and I have reluctantly, I want to go on record, reluctantly picked the Ravens. So.
Yeah, and a side note, yesterday on the fantasy show, Zach and I, when we were talking about the Ravens and Colts, I think we said that the game was in Baltimore. This game is in Indianapolis in the Dome, so the weather's not going to be an issue.
Okay, cool.